Hi guys, and welcome back to Pass and Move. And for today's episode, we are back in the lively Liverpool series with the game against Arsenal. So of course, it's February 2020 and our last season with Liverpool. Hopefully it's a good one. But in terms of the table itself, we are in 4th place. Now Chelsea and Tottenham do have games in hand, of course. But in terms of the team who's on the top of the table, it's Southampton. Incredibly well, and they are 6 points away from us, so we do have some catching up to do. But anyways, in terms of what happened since the last episode, we did show you that game against Manchester City, which we managed to win. Port Vale, and as you can see, a bunch of greens really, and just a single loss to Watford. But yeah, against Port Vale, nice little FA Cup third round win. A simple 2-0 one with Naby and Oxlade-Chamberlain on the score sheet. We've got Tottenham here, 3-1. A heavy game as well, but we managed to score through a Lacazette brace and Chamberlain on the score sheet once more. Brighton was a more convincing win, but it was Brighton themselves who opened the scoring. Thankfully, again, Lacazette popped up, Mane as well, and Gomez made sure to get on the score sheet too. Swansea was a very good win, a 6-2 one. It wasn't nice to see us concede twice, but either way, put us in a strong position with 6 away goals. Mane with the hat-trick as well was nice to see. Anyways, as soon as I start to think that our form will never end, Watford prove us wrong. 1-0 with Troy Deeney scoring in the 92nd minute to really, well, upset the balance, to be honest. But anyways, we'll have to try and recover from that. And we managed to do that over here in the Premier League, but in terms of the Swansea, we managed to beat them 3-0 as well to put us into a strong aggregate lead of 9-2. We've got the Carabao Cup final as well. We're in the final, which is why we want to show you the game here of February, which is supposed to be Arsenal, and then in the match for March, we can show you the Carabao Cup final there. And I thought the Europa League games aren't as important as this Arsenal game can prove to be, because we're trying to chase the Premier League title. But anyways, against Swansea, we already talked about it actually. So Watford 5-4, they tried to get, we actually tried and succeeded to get revenge on them, but they really, made it very difficult for us. Salah scored within 1 minute to give us a nice early lead, but Troy Deeney responded in the 8th minute. Sadio Mane scored in the 14th. Doucouré responded in the 20th and scored what looked like their winner in Richarlison in the 32nd minute. Managed to go into half-time, screamed at them. They came out and responded with Divock Origi scoring, Mane scoring as well to give us the winner. And then Will Hughes scoring in the 80th minute to make things seem like they were going to end in a draw, which would have possibly been a bit more of a fair result. But I didn't want to replay, neither did Pablo Fornals by the looks of it, and he scored in the 85th minute to give us the final winner and end an insane game. Thankfully against Burnley it was less complicated, with just Origi scoring from our team and Andre Wisdom scoring their own goal to help us solidify the 3 points. And Burnley couldn't respond in the second half. But anyways, I'm playing against Arsenal today, away from home, so it's going to be a difficult fixture, of course. We're going to change some things up, not necessarily tactically, but more so about how we're going to view the game. So just show that in a second, but this is the team we'll be going with, of course. The only real injury is Guilherme, who's out for 2 to 4 weeks. Pretty much got a fully fit squad, so it's nice to see, and it's good to see most of them in form, especially James Rodriguez, who struggled adjusting to the attacking midfielder role, but he seems to have put that behind him. It might have nothing to do with the role, and he was just simply in a poor battle form. But anyways, Origi is going to try and lead the line for us after some decent, good form. Lacazette, of course, was in really good form as well himself. But I just want to see if Origi can truly try and fulfill his potential. I'm trying to give him every chance possible for him to do it. But by the looks of it, 24 years of age, he still does have a hint of potential, but the way he's playing, it won't really happen. But let's see if he can do it today. These are the games that define us. In terms of Arsenal themselves, maybe if you didn't realise when I showed the Premier League table earlier, they're in 9th place, so we really do want to separate ourselves from them as much as possible, and we have an opportunity to do that today, as well as jump into second place without having, with still having a game in hand over Chelsea. I think we'd be matching Tottenham in terms of games played, but Chelsea still have a game in hand and we're ahead of them, so it'll be good to see. Anyways, Arsenal line up with a similar 4-2-3-1 formation. We can alternatively move Henderson to defensive midfield strata if needed, if we feel like we have to be a bit more defensive. We could do the same with Naby, of course, but I prefer keeping the roaming playmaker in the central midfield spot. We've got a very decent team. Ramsey playing in a position he might not be comfortable with, so maybe we can exploit that. Immobile proved to be dangerous to us last time in that left wing spot. Kolasinac, Semedo, Mustafi, very decent defence, and of course a very robust midfield with Coquelin and Xhaka, and Rajkovic is a very decent goalkeeper, as I mentioned before. But anyways, in terms of ourselves, Origi, hopefully he's, his well, not really lack of talent, but he's not as talented as, Lacazette for sure. But either way, Mane, Rodriguez and Salah are first choice players, and hopefully they can make up for that lack of a star striker there. Got Keita and Henderson, very decent midfield. Tierney and Alexander-Arnold, Gomez and Van Dijk make up our defence, and Timo Horn, of course, in goal, as it is a Premier League game. I'm not sure when we last met, what was that? Did I talk about the transfer window? So we did meet in Manchester City, so that still was January. So yeah, okay, so there has been some dealings going on, I suppose. Let's sort it out by dates. Alright, so ignore everything else, just 2020 here. So as you can see, a couple of loans out. We managed to finally get rid of Alex Telles as well for 20.5 million. Real Madrid finally got their man in Emre Can for 47.5 million. I didn't really want to sell him, but he was upset, wanted to leave, so I just got rid of him. Nathaniel Klein as well, 15 million, very decent way of making money. As you can tell in terms of net spend, we're doing really well, to be honest, not spending too much over the budget, and that's why we've still got a ton of money left over. We also managed to get rid of Adam Lallana. That's good to do as well, so a huge ton of our wages gone finally. But yeah, in terms of his replacement, it is Mikel here, who is a obviously a central midfielder, deep line playmaker, and we're gonna have to try and retrain him for the defensive midfield position just in case. But he is pretty much almost 5-star potential. He's described as a wonder kid. Brought him over for a bit of a hefty sum, more than I would have liked to have spent. 35 million. He's valued at 26 million now that he's at Liverpool. But yeah, very decent deep playmaker. We're going to be looking for him to play on defense, which, his positioning is a bit of a worry, and so is his balance. But otherwise, very capable deep line playmaker. As you can tell, ready for Premier League action. Got tons of potential, and hopefully he can be, can overtake Henderson and become a star player for us ourselves. But anyways, so in terms of what we'll be doing differently, let's just quickly give this team talk here. Let's go with the media one. Okay, apparently we haven't given it. Media. Great. Alright. There you go. Alright, so what we just want to be changing is actually to go on extended highlight. Normally we go on key highlights. We're going to reduce the match speed to about medium. Keep the in-between, but the difference is in terms of camera, we're going to be showing a 2D classic, and what we want is the replay camera to be 3D. I think that will give us a bit of a better balance, so everyone's happy. Some people call for 2D, some people call for 3D, and this way it's a bit more balanced. And also of course, staying on TD classic helps in terms of the in terms of tactics, so you can see how your team are set out and how they perform on the pitch. But anyways, Gomez with the ball. Lobs it forward to Trent Alexander-Arnold, actually. Mohamed Salah looked like he might have lost it, but we've done well to keep it. Apparently that's the end of that highlight, but quickly another one comes. The interesting thing, of course, about playing with extended highlights is that it's not like key highlights in the sense that every highlight is going to be something major. So sometimes, it keeps you a bit more on edge, which can be a good thing. Obviously in big games like this, it can worry you a bit more. But anyways, not nice to see too many highlights in the 8th minute, and James Rodriguez loses out. It's good that Tierney was there to mop up, but it's a poor ball through to Mane, and Zappacosta can keep the ball for his team. He's almost set our striker through, Origi. Henderson does well to win it back. James Rodriguez up to Origi. Mane tries to take a shot from outside the box for some reason. So Origi again, Henderson. We're keeping the ball well, but we're not really working it into the box. Henderson goes back to roaming playmaker Keita, and he loses out to Xhaka, and Arsenal can try and counter this. Does not look good for us. Xhaka. We talked about a robust midfield, and it looks like they're doing well to keep, to limit our damage. Immobile on the back post. Oh, good header from Trent Alexander-Arnold. I mean, it looked like Immobile got goals ahead of him, but we're not doing well in terms of keeping the ball. It's a bit worrying. Signs or suggestions that we should use work ball into the box, and hints of us possibly dropping Henderson into the defensive midfield strata by the looks of it, because Arsenal are playing very attacking. They are the home team, of course, so it does make sense for us to maybe drop Henderson, but I just want to keep things going for now and see how we perform. I like to judge the game in 15-minute intervals to see how things are going, and I think, up until that moment, I just won't do any knee-jerk reactions just yet. But Arsenal are looking very decent, very capable of trying to cause us some damage. In terms of statistics, nothing major, just 2 shots to ourselves, none on target, and the same for Arsenal with a shot less. So, Not too much back-to-back stuff, but Arsenal are trying to pile the pressure here, but we're doing well defensively. Anyways, that's the end of that highlight apparently, but it goes straight into the throw-in. Can we hit them on the break is the question. Goretzka on the ball, delivers into the box. Coquelin can pick up the pieces from outside the box. He's going to go for the shot. Horn is there. And we're going to have to be a bit more alive to things than we have been so far. Right, we win the header initially. Salah just needs to hold the ball up, but he's not the best player at doing that. Instead, he decides to go with the technique of dribbling, but he's going to have to find someone now before he's closed down. But the game shuts that highlight down instead, and now Arsenal again with the ball. Delivery into the box, but it's a poor one. No. Ramsey does well there, but you'd argue that Tierney there should be doing better. Alright then, so we're going to make some changes now. Little hints, we'll see whether it helps us or not, but little hints, like I mentioned, of working the ball into the box would make sense, and moving Henderson into the deep line playmaker role to help us deal with Arsenal's attacking intent so far. Also, of course, moving Henderson into defensive midfield will help us deal with Goretzka's, threat, I suppose, a bit better. But Arsenal do have the set piece, and it could prove me wrong. Kolasinac from outside the box. He's got a man to play through if he does, and he wants to, and he finds Coquelin. And thankfully that's out. But yeah, Arsenal really picking up their pace now. First clear-cut chance, 5 shots, 3 on target. It's fair to say one team's pulling away after the first 15 minutes of the game, and it's definitely not Liverpool. Well, Ramsey on the ball. Goretzka. Henderson does try and close him down, but he still finds Immobile well. And it's Arsenal who come at us again. And thankfully it's well, I thought it was a poor shot, but apparently it works through to Patanga. And we just have to be thankful that Arsenal's shooting has been worse and worse. But anyways, we finally get a highlight in our favour. Tierney to Naby. Back to Tierney. Can he deliver? Instead he goes to James Rodriguez. A bit of a smarter ball, but Mustafi's there to clear it, and quite easily Arsenal can get going on the counter again. Playing on control, so we should be able to deal with the threat of counters, but Arsenal are doing well in terms of keeping the ball and winning it. Thankfully Gomez is there to pick up the pieces, and Salah can try and get us going. Cuts inside, plays Origi. What can he do here? Back to Salah. Come on boys. James Rodriguez on the ball. Oh, he's being an idiot. He should have just passed instead. He loses the ball, holds onto it for no absolute reason. And I'm tempted to encourage my players to pass into space because, oh, that's a penalty. Of course it is. Great, that's a silly tackle. Considering that Immobile wasn't going anywhere, he's just going to cross, but he has a chance to score instead. And can Horn come to my team's rescue? Oh, guesses the right way, but Immobile scores nonetheless. And I'm sad to say we're going to see a director's replay of that goal, so yeah, I mean, just under. That explains it, because Horn did guess the right way. But anyways, chance for us. Naby. Henderson. Right, Trent, take your man on, deliver from the byline. He's trying to do that, but he's closed down really well. His cross is blocked. Coquelin tries to get there, but Henderson's quicker. He has to be a bit smart with how he plays. Virgil van Dijk, free. Spreads out wide to Tierney well. Mane on the ball. Come on. Find your teammate who's on the overlap. Naby, can you do it? Oh, he tries to. Is he going to make it there? Yes, he does. Deliver from the byline. Origi's there. And I guess that's our first chance of the game. A half chance seems fair. But we're going to have to do a bit better than that. And I think I want to encourage my players to pass into space a bit more. We're getting up to the 30th minute here. We haven't done anything dangerous as of yet, so let's try and pass into space. We naturally work the ball into the box because of the way we play, you know, passing and moving the ball around. There's an immediate highlight after making my tactical tweak. But yeah, I just felt like my players were being a bit too wasteful for my liking, but at times they also don't pass the ball into space when they can. And Salah has an opportunity to prove me wrong. He does exactly that. Origi is free if he can do the smart thing. Yes, he can, and there you go, our first chance, and it's tucked away by Origi. He showed his pace there, and I think a bit of power, to be honest, because the centre-backs were trying to close him down. But he's a bit too quick, and Salah does really well there. We've got good creative wingers. We need to take advantage of these inside forwards who have perfect vision, perfect passing, you know, as part of their game. And so Salah does exactly that by playing Origi through. I don't think there's going to be any strength here. It's just pure pace from him. And of course, an excellent finish. And he points to the back of his shirt to his name. And you could guess, or you could assume actually, that Liverpool fans aren't going to be forgetting his name anytime soon. Anyways, Arsenal get us going again. Virgil van Dijk rises and James Rodriguez plays it back to Henderson. And Salah tries to do that pass into space again, but this time doesn't work out. And Arsenal can get going again. Immobile closed down quickly. Goretzka's free though. Patanga. And he's forced all the way back, so we've done well there. If you can close them down again, we would have done a good job. Salah just keeping an eye on his own player, so Immobile does receive the ball. Coquelin again. Xhaka. Goretzka should be man-marked by Henderson. Instead, he finds a really good through ball to Patanga. And that type of ball should not be happening. Let me have a look at Henderson here. No, I don't want you to mark a specific position. You're already in defensive midfield. Let's get rid of that. Move on. Alright then, signs that we're improving, but in terms of shots, it still remains in Arsenal's favour. But James Rodriguez has an opportunity from a set piece, and he's definitely going to need to do better there if we want to see that converted. But you do have to say, before we head into half-time, so far, Arsenal have had the advantage. Mane, a really good header through to James Rodriguez. Can he find his teammate? There's options, Origi, and it's 2-1. And there you go, and that's why we're looking for the passes in behind Arsenal, because the opportunities are there, and that moves us to second. So all we have to do is keep this up, and we're going to get a nice little 3D view of what just happened. Tierney, Mane, perfect header. James Rodriguez making the run as well. That overlapping run we talked about so many times. He has options in the box. Could have gone to Salah or Origi, and he picks the arguably the better choice. If we went to Salah and he finished it, it's good either way. The point is 2-1, and we need to try and head into half-time as is, or with a bigger lead in our favour. Arsenal also tiring a bit more than us, so hopefully we can take advantage of their players like Xhaka and Ramsey, who already look exhausted, and maybe can risk injuring them if possible. Anyways, it is Arsenal with Immobile moving inside now. And have they switched positions or have they switched formations? Because Immobile is getting a bit of freedom here that I'm not liking. Let's have a look at that analysis. They're still playing a 4-2-3-1, but perhaps it might have just been the moment of the move. He's number 9 here. So that, yeah, he's still playing on the left wing. It was just a moment of madness, I suppose. Also good to see that Patanga has a rating of 6.4. That's the type of rating we always want to see from our opposition strikers. And as you can tell, no one necessarily standing out for Arsenal. Even their goal scorer Immobile, who scored through a penalty, you know, hasn't really got into the game. We're temporarily a man down as Naby Keita tries to respond, but Arsenal aren't going to be, you know, kind and patient for waiting for that. So Henderson's going to have to play that midfield role by himself. James Rodriguez tries to drop in, but not good enough, and Goretzka can find Patanga, and we will love it if he continues to have those type of shots. Need Naby back on the pitch as soon as possible. We've got Mikel on the bench, but he's supposed to be a deep line playmaker, not a roaming one. So, ooh, that's not a... Oh, thank God. Oh my God, that was a... I don't know if this is just 2D, but that looked crazy dangerous, so thank God Patanga missed that. Need to get Naby off the pitch as soon as possible. Mikel's going to have to play in a role that he might not be too familiar with as a roaming playmaker instead of a deep line playmaker. Can obviously move Henderson there as well. Won't, you know, not too much damage, and... we'll have to wait until Mikel gets more accustomed to the defensive midfield role anyways before we actually play him there consistently. Anyways, can we head into halftime finally so I can give my team talk, please? We weren't necessarily favourites for today's game. It seemed a bit even in terms of the match odds. So let's take off Naby for Mikel here and give a nice little team talk. So we're happy. Actually, I should have gone with the we could do more, but we're happy, and I'll tell them you weren't too bad, so that way it bounces out and they're ready to walk through walls. So let's see if they do that. They're going to have to walk through the walls of Arsenal. Actually pass through the walls, to be fair. If I'm being a bit harsh, actually. They don't even have any walls, so you just pass into space and you can unlock them. I'm even tempted to get rid of our work ball into the box instruction, because might be letting us or stopping us a little bit more than I hope. So actually see if that helps us, because passing space has, but work the ball into the box hasn't necessarily done that. Ooh, what a mess. I hate it when it's like pinball in the box. Thankfully we get that clear. And, I do want to warn my players to not be complacent, because this looks worrying. Coquelin, that's cleared. Alright, let's just do that now. I'm tempted to move Mikel into the defensive midfield as a roaming playmaker too, but let's not be too defensive and not give them too much respect. Anyways, in terms of the players on the bench, Divock Origi is on a hat-trick, so I don't want to take him off. Pablo Fornals can possibly come off for James Rodriguez, who's only got an assist to name, performing quite quietly. And he looks he looks like he's going to soon lose fitness, so I'll just take him off. Kent, Lacazette, I just want to save him for Origi, so we'll leave that change for later. But we do need a third if we want any hope of surviving, because Arsenal are coming at us hard. Goretzka. Xhaka. Oh god, how's that onside? What on earth are my players doing? Ramsey, who I said should struggle from the right wing. Suspicions offside. Van Dijk is upset, but it's rare that the game gets this wrong. But let's have a look at it here as well. Kolasinac, Xhaka. One hell of a ball from Coquelin. I really don't know if that was offside or not, but you have to blame our defenders there. We're going to need a bit more. We might have to call on Lacazette sooner than I wanted to. But Origi's got 2 and I want him to get 3rd, so let's hope he can do that. Arsenal again coming at us. Alright, so we've gone into attacking to try and, swing this in our favour. Despite us performing fairly decently, we haven't necessarily been better than Arsenal. They've dominated us to a degree, but the scoreline remains 2-2, so we just have to be a bit careful with how we play. Again, the highlight starts in Arsenal's favour. Will it end that way is the question. Goretzka, good ball into Ziyech. Gomez is there, but Ramsey's outside the box. Alright, nope. He gets in and he shoots too. It's getting a bit too dangerous for my liking. Let's drop and see whether that helps. Again, Arsenal. Great. Goretzka goes out wide, but if he delivers this cross, there's 2 players there. Eventually gets to Campbell. Come on, this shouldn't be too hard to deal with. Pablo dropping deep, just like how you want to see him. And maybe that pass into space instruction is more damaging than doing good, because we've lost the ball a lot, by the looks of it. And Arsenal keep coming at us, and this is not good. Ziyech. Ooh, huge deflection. Let's get rid of pass into space. I think let's go with run at defense. We can run at them a bit more, I feel. Sometimes we look to make the pass instead of running, when maybe running would be the better option. Bit of a hiccup from the game there. Maybe there would have been a highlight if we stayed with pass into space, but maybe switching into run at defense has helped us, apparently. Either way, we're going to take off Origi for Lacazette for the last 10. If this game can move any slower. Alright, sorry Origi, you're not going to get your hat-trick. Come on Lacazette. Prove that you should be ahead of Origi, even though, we all know you should be. Right then, immediate highlight to that. Lacazette can rise early to try and win this, but will he? Nope, instead he just lets Chambers win it easily, and Ziyech for Arsenal can get them going. Henderson mops up the pieces. Lacazette running at defense as instructed and takes everyone on, really. Can he deliver though? Oh man, he's outside the box. That wasn't the ball to play, and instead it's 2v2 now. Goretzka plays the ball through to Patanga. It looks like Arsenal are going to hit us on the counter. Can we stop the cross though? Apparently not. Coquelin's there, and it's 3-2 to Arsenal. I guess running at defense was not the correct answer. I do feel like we can look for the overlap a bit more. Maybe bring the work ball into the box instruction back, because of how wasteful we've been. Gonna have to go into overload in just a moment, but Arsenal again with the ball. They've proven how dangerous they've been, and despite our really good form recently, we are not doing well here. This is exactly the type of inconsistency as I talked about. Pablo on the ball. Switches it. It's a poor ball in truth, and you have to wonder why he played it. Patanga can get Arsenal going again. Oh, what a hell of a tackle from Van Dijk. Oh, for a second I thought it was a penalty. Virgil lobs it forward to Lacazette. Alright then. Come on, play the smart ball. Yep, eventually to Pablo. Can he find Lacazette through? Yes, he does. Can he finish though? Chambers is there. Salah, he's offside though. Assistant calling it, I think. Yeah, that's offside. You can tell. Then the assistant runs back. That's when it's not offside. So he didn't. He stays still, and he definitely called that. Disappointing, but either way, we move on. Lacazette. Two defensive midfielders doesn't seem to have helped us too much, but either way, Salah, really good ball to Mane. He could have just played that across. He's gonna. Oh my god! All right, so now we've got 4 clear-cut chances to our name. And Arsenal survive again. So we're going to go into overload. And... oh, great. How should we do this? Sorry, but I have to risk all at this point. So... I'm pretty sure Arsenal are down a man as well. I'm not sure if he's just injured. But we do need a complete forward. So I feel like Fornals as an inside forward here is the one to sacrifice. Gone into overload and take more risks. We need a point at least. Arsenal not down a man, but Zappacosta has been moved into central midfield. And Coquelin into centre back. But yeah, this doesn't look like it's going to end well for ourselves. 10 versus 11. And Arsenal are coming at us again. We haven't been able to deal with their attacking threat all game, and that they could have gotten a 4th. Horn was there, and that is disappointing. Tierney mops up decently, but not enough. Patanga, Campbell. They're loading our box because we're 10 men, I suppose. So maybe I should do that again, but I was trying to be a bit more attacking than I maybe should have. Alright then, now this time the ball's with us, so Henderson. A bit hopeful for Salah, but Kolasinac is lingering on the ball. Does well to find Semedo, and Arsenal again. Goretzka closed down by Henderson, but not enough. Patanga surrounded. Back to Goretzka though. Ooh, Patanga's through. Alright, so commentator says it's a couple inches and would have been in, but that looked higher than I thought. Anyways, poor ball forward, and Arsenal come again. It's good that Henderson was mopping up there, because Virgil van Dijk just went ahead. Oh, that's a good header from Lacazette. Pablo's running forward as well. Back to Lacazette. Oh, through to Pablo. Come on, if you're going to shoot, then you might as well run a bit in. You did have a bit of time. He's being closed down, but if he just ran ahead a little bit more, the angle would have been better. And the shot he took there didn't even go on target. And you have to say, the click-up chances have been very even. A draw would have been a bit more respectable. But our passing has been poor, to say the least, in today's game, with Arsenal proving to be the better team on the ball. Ramsey, Zappacosta, just 10 seconds left here. And look at that. I mean, you know, if you've got 3 players here, Virgil van Dijk has let Patanga go side of him, and that's probably because, you know, you got these 2 over here out of position. Someone's getting in behind Tierney as well. And, you know, you have to be thankful that Horns come out for that, but defense is leaky, to say the least. And Arsenal get away with all 3 points. Now, a game in hand means absolutely nothing. And I think the correct thing to do is tell my players off. We were leading at half-time. They weren't complacent at half-time, so there's no need for me to warn them. But they ended the second half with Trent Alexander-Arnold putting in a 5.6 average rating over the full match. And you have to wonder whether it was his mistakes that contributed to Arsenal's goals. But that's disappointing. Should have gotten all 3 goals, all 3 points rather. And yeah, disappointing collapse is definitely the way to go. Thankfully, Sadio Mane's injury is not too bad. But yeah, in terms of winning back, like we mentioned, final against Manchester City, possibly one of the few cups, or one of maybe even just the cup that we can win this season. Premier League is slowly running away from us, with Southampton having an incredible season. It's definitely not over. We're still going to try and go all out for it. it might be better to try and get as many cup trophies in the bag as possible, and that first one there is Manchester City. So that's all for today. If you did enjoy today's episode, then please hit the like button and subscribe for more daily Football Manager 2018 content. And of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, guys, thank you all very much for watching.